Hello, welcome to the stream again. We're going to continue what we're working on. Summary of the current project. I am working on an OBS plugin that creates a source, OBS source, which for those who don't know OBS and their sources is just some kind of video input that can be composited onto your scene. And I want this source to actually be sourced from an IP camera. And there's an application on Android called IP Webcam that exposes a MJPEG stream. So basically, the theory was, could I consume that stream, decode it, and provide it to OBS as the frames of an OBS source, which it does work. Not right now, because I broke it since yesterday, but it did work and it will work. So what did I do to break it? Not much. I made the file a bit smaller, 421, by moving the custom decoder and the AV codec decoder to separate files with a .h and a .c for each of them. And what else did I do? Yeah, that's just what I did. No, I did set up the make file so that the make file has like a decoder value that you can set, and depending on which one you use, a specific kind of like C file is added as the sources, and in here we include the .h relevant to the right one, and in create I think we set the decoder to the right one depending on what's going on. So we set it and then we just tell it to create its thing. I think that the reason why it's not working, or maybe one of the reasons, is because I started working on also changing. I moved some stuff to core as well. I made the core.h for all of the shared stuff. I actually changed it where I started going away from having a texture in having a frame. Actually, since I'm saying that, I could just remove this because I really don't need that anymore. And the idea is that my state has actually two textures, and that's it. And it's the job of the decoder to just take care of that. So if I go into the AV decoder here, so decode is here. That's for decode, okay. And decode does get texture. So this is where things are a bit flunky, is that to get a texture, like to create a texture for an OBS source, you need to have the data already. So you give it a width and height and you have to give it some data. So that's a bit annoying. But that means that, like, yeah, I need to do get texture, and inside there's a bit of a state that says, oh, if the texture exists or if it doesn't, or if the width is the same and the height is not the same. Like, it basically changes automatically. It does a logic automatically create the texture, or called set image, or delete then recreate, which also makes me think that in get texture here, I think I've got here I've got the destroy here. Yeah, that should be fine. And this is all in pending texture, right? And update frame, the only thing that update frame does is it grabs the current texture and actually set the pending texture as a current texture, and set the pending texture as what the old current was. So if we come here and I grab what's in data here, then in theory this should be all I need, followed by update frame. So just to figure out what's going on, because I ran it just earlier, and if I run it here, see, I'm not getting anything, and it looks like the width is not correct. It did say, see, it says like sending request and then nothing, but I think this is what I'm supposed to expect there. Let me see if I even get something here. Because basically what's going on, I had like a little bit of time today, just like a few minutes, and I did all of this, and then I had to do something else. So I couldn't continue all of this. So I ended up not testing it. So I just tested it like right before starting the stream. Right, so it doesn't seem to like have a width and a height. I wonder if it's just get width and get height that is incorrect here. So if current texture is null, you return 0. Otherwise you do get width of current texture. Yeah, that's kind of correct. I wonder if I could just do this. See if it's even called. Now that's the thing. It is not actually, it's not going to get height. I think it's going to get height and then it's going to get 0. But it's not calling it again. Get width and get height. So what about render? If current texture is null, return. The reality is if the other one is not called again, then it means that this should not be called as well. So it looks like current texture is like always null, which should be something fairly easy to fix. Yeah, okay. So current texture is never set. So update frame, pending texture. What is pending texture? What is pending texture? So it's null. Right. There was this thing that I had, this issue that I had before where this was never done properly. Oh, create texture. Pending texture, create width, height, and data. So let's try to print it here. Because, I mean, you know what? It's the same issue that I had before where I was like, it's not working. And I was saying, oh, maybe it's because it's on a separate frame, like on a separate thread, that I can't do create texture. And I was like, oh, it doesn't make sense. Like you should be able to create a texture from any thread. And now the only thing that I changed is the same thing. I'm creating the texture from a different thread. And then now it's just causing the same issue. OBS GS texture create from separate thread. Uploading images to GPU on a separate thread. You need to set up an OpenGL context on both your rendering thread and your loading thread. Oh, so is it like an OpenGL thing? Because as far as I'm concerned, have I done some manipulation of GPU memory from different threads? Yeah, because I'm changing stuff on the update thread in some of the applications. Okay, so that's kind of a bummer. So what do I do? I know that like my data is going to be written on a thread. So I could just say, okay, I've got some data stored there. Damn, that's really annoying. Let's think about it. So I just need to move stuff back otherwise. And I just remove my frame structure, which to be honest is not that big of a deal. Because the other thing is, I would have to create this process communication saying, ha, there's a frame available, right? And find a way to get that communicated to the main thread. But the only way to do it on the main thread is in the render function. So I think that that's literally that. I just need to have a thing that says, here's some data that's queued, and then I have to just use different interface. Oh, that's really annoying because I just changed all of that, and I don't think I can get it back. Okay. All right, let's design it then, because we've got a chance to review what was not working with the previous one. So the idea is to say that when a frame is ready, it will save the data to a place that's not being read from for sure, and then it will queue that data. Yeah. So I could just use an AB appending in the current the same way I have. I keep one texture for rendering that I can just replace, and then I mean, yeah, what I had was the thing, and then the logic of like get texture is correct as well. Okay, so I think that's what I need, unfortunately. Yeah, I had something that was working, so I don't know why I changed it. I should be able to get back my frame here. The only thing is that I'm gonna kind of destroy all of this, and then here I can have current frame. Pending frame. Okay. I could either have both of them stored in the struct itself, or I could just do a arena alloc, which I think I may do an arena alloc, to be honest, just to simplify stuff. So now, hopefully, I should have a bunch of errors here, which is great. Now in create, here, yeah, so now I should be able to do frame and arena lock, arena, and arena pause. Arena pause is going to be a bit of an issue if I don't do state arena pause, and size of struct frame. Basically what I need. Pending and current. Right. Let's do the errors one at a time. So create texture is going to be simple because I just need to do texture here, and I don't need this. Okay, and this can just switch back to texture everywhere. So texture, and texture. That should be a little bit better already. Now update frame is literally just going to be struct frame, current frame, pending frame. I'm rewriting code that I did yesterday or some time ago, because I just flip-flop between things I wanted to do. I don't version my code as well, so but that gives me some time to reflect and think about things. Pending frame, this one's a bit different because pending frame dot width is going to be what I need here. It turns out it is which makes sense, and pending frame height. There you go. Pending GS6 is just going to be texture, create texture, and set image texture. But actually, I'm wondering, because I mean now I'm providing some void data here. I don't think I need to do get texture here. I just need to do update. I'm going to create update texture and not return anything, right? Okay, and instead of receiving data and width and height, I'm just gonna use that from state. I need to use current frame, right? That's the idea, because well, actually, yeah, current. All right, hang with me. I'm getting there. So this is where it's interesting, because update texture there. I do kind of want to keep that's the yeah. So I changed the wrong thing. Current frame width state current frame height, and this actually I do need to go back to GS texture get height state texture GHT. Okay. GS texture get width. You'll see that I won't learn from my mistakes, and I'm still not going to set up source control. But I'm not really fussed about that, because if I lose all of that, I'm not going to lose what I've learned. And yeah, maybe it would be nice to be able to refer to stuff, but this is like doing Sudoku, right? I don't do Sudoku, I do this. So that means that, like, you know, people doing Sudoku, they don't put their solution on GitHub. They're like, I finished that one. Great. Give me the other one. But like, if they lose a pile of solved Sudoku in a fire, they're not going to be necessarily upset about that specifically. The problem is that this texture there is only set right before rendering, so I think instead what we're going to do is return do I return pending or current? I think current is better. The only problem is that I set the current at a specific time, and if it's about to render, it's like, oh, I need to get the width and height before I render, and I do that, and I'm going to use the current one. We'll see what that does. Right. Almost there, at least for this. And I only need to destroy one texture if I'm finished, which is this one. Okay, now, in AV codec, I'm going to have a bunch of problems. Not really, because I did not change the signature of get texture. I could do update texture. Oh, I don't need to update texture. I can do update texture in. The only thing I need to do is update frame from the outside, but update texture I can put it in render. So update the texture. I do need to say if one of them is null, but I don't really need. I mean, I could check the data, like if state current frame data is null, then yeah, return. Okay. Now this should start causing some issues. Alright, so this is where it's a bit annoying, right? Because the data is there, and actually data is not gonna be. Is the data null? And the data right now is actually, yeah, it is null because I was using malloc and free. So let's just do that. Free state pending texture, right? Data. It's pending frame. That's not even starting to tackle the problem that I have, but yeah, let's just ignore that for now. Pending frame data is going to be malloc in this instance. Dec frame width times dec frame height times 4. That's what I'm expecting. And then I need to do a memcpy into state pending frame data, dec frame data at 0, so there's different planes and size, and basically I want to do this size t size equals paste and size here. Pending frame is not going to be correct. Pending frame. All right, and then update frame. So when I get data from FFmpeg, I free the previous memory allocated in the pending frame, allocate, and then do a memcpy. Ideally, what I would do is, because each source has its own arena, what I could do is maybe even delete the arena, clear the arena, or free the arena when it's deactivated and recreate it when it's activated. And when it's activated, I could potentially estimate the size I'm going to need and allocate that amount, and that's it. I could also have like a global arena, so I just do one malloc and one mem copy. I could even do mem move instead of mem copy. I don't know if mem move is like more efficient. Oh no, mem move is just a safety thing. If you just like overwrite on the same thing, it doesn't really matter. So I could just have a way to grow it. If I reach the end automatically. Maybe my arena should do that. So I'd have to do malloc every time. I might look at that after. But anyways, this may cause errors because no, that's actually a sprite cannot be drawn without width or height. Okay. I am indeed not setting the width nor height. I'm not sure I use the channels for now. I may need to segfault. Okay. Let's see. Pending frame, pending frame, pending frame. It's going to be difficult to figure out where the segfault is. I mean, there was a render that happened before, so I know that it probably works in this specific instance. Let's see if render has an issue there. Maybe it's in draw sprite or like in the create. I mean, actually it shouldn't be because Yeah, so that's fine. That's the correct one I'm calling. Ah, so I'm not even getting here. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I narrowed it down to update texture. If pending frame is null, I think I shouldn't do that. I think I should do current frame. If current frame is null, create texture. Current frame, 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 current frame. So I think maybe create texture now. I just want to confirm that that one does to create texture. It's provided the stuff, so that's fine. So what we're, I mean, the other one was the pending was not null, and it maybe was trying to write before anything was set. Okay, so not necessarily getting the right thing here. Why? This is completely wrong here. This is texture. Okay, so I'm getting this. Now texture, if I didn't set it to null at the beginning, that might cause an issue, even though do a calloc. Just to be safe, okay, now back to where we were. Update texture here. The idea is to first I'm going to check what is in state texture, which should be null at the start. Okay, I think one of the problems is that I'm doing this while the current frame does not have any data. So update texture should not happen if current frame doesn't have any data, which I think current frame is null. I do a return. Okay, so that's kind of where I want it to be. Great. Now this is null, so it should do create texture. So what about current frame data? What about that? Okay, that's a pointer. Now, could it be that when I create the texture, there's not enough data and I'm reading more than I'm allocating? Possibly. I'm not really giving it like how much. I'm not really giving it how much. How many channels? Let's see. I want to make sure I isolate it to the right place. Yeah, okay. So this is exactly that. So it crashes in this thing, and I think it just probably tries to read data, and data is probably not ideal at that stage. Yeah, so it's not null, but it's also not null. So let's see, here is the malloc. And the swap is right after that. Okay. malloc swap, malloc swap. Don't know why it's happening twice before it tries to create. Pending frame. Let's try that. See what number. This seems correct to me. 8 megs for like a full frame thing. The segfault really feels like when the texture tries to be created, it's trying to read more than it should have. Right, so I think I shouldn't have any problem there because the numbers are set up properly. Let's try that. Okay, so these values are correct. So when I go and say create there, unless width height, color format RGBA, so that's color format is going to indicate like, yeah, how much you need to read from, and then levels, one level, and then the data. But the data I give it as a pointer. Well, I used to give it as like an int. I used to do this when I created, if I remember well. Okay, that's literally what I needed. Now it's very interesting that now I'm getting it's actually reading the entire frame, seemingly. Let me clean up. It seems to be reading a bit more than it should, or at least yeah, I don't know, this is really odd. When I copy into pending frame this, and I says this is the size, and the other one tries to read the same thing, they should see the same thing. So it looks like in frame data, I wonder if line size at 0 is different. I mean, I think it will be. It's called line size if I remember well. Yeah, but the line size is correct. Actually, it's not correct because it's only 1920. So that means that like I need to read 4 lines to get the 4 values. So I think it's the layout, because the line size should be that times 4. I don't know if this is something they can do in okay. Well, now that we're back at something like this, I just need to figure out AV codec frame to RGBA layout. So I wonder if it's YUV frames. I think that's what it told me. You'd like to do a pixel format conversion from YUV to RGB, for which you could use libswscale. Yes. However, your code creates encoder. So libswscale YUV to RGBA. Oh, that's exactly the thing that I have. Just need to change the target format. So can you do that? AV codec target format. If there's no pixel with that name, then it looks for to the name. Now let's see what I do here, because when I create in here, I've got the codec, the parser, and the CTX. Is there any options that can be provided to the parser, or actually the decoder probably? Like here, parse to. No, not parse to. Where's decode? Decode is here. Send packet, receive frame. Let's ask an AI. Using AV codec, can I specify the format I want as output of a codec? I just want the output format, yeah. So pix FMT, AV pix FMT. Let's try that. Let's see if the AI is correct. The thing is, what I saw here, pix FMT, there's 88 there. Copy. Maybe you gotta get pix FMT. Actually, I should be able to get it into I just want an AV codec here. Okay. All right, let's just yeah, doesn't seem to be anything in there. Yeah, pix FMTs is there. Use AV codec get supported config. But I guess this is like to query it, not necessarily to set it, because here it said when decoding, it's the context that seemingly would have something. So decoder CTX pix FMT. Okay. AV pix FMT. ARGB. I kind of want RGBA. Okay. I mean, we're gonna try. Oh, same. I'm not getting anything different. It's interesting because I am getting 4 and then it repeats. So I don't know if this is just, I don't know what it is exactly. I want to re-look at it again because you see it comes into 4 stages. So I wonder if like the texture reuse plus, yeah, I don't know if I don't know what it is exactly. But yeah, that didn't change anything. Decoder picks FMT. What I could do is just come here and say print f %d deck frame format, and I think it's gonna say 12 currently, which is the YUV JP. Yeah, so 12. That doesn't seem to be working, right? So if I say AV context picks FMT, AV decode context picks FMT. I should just read the spec, right? Pixel format C, AV picks FMT may be set by the demuxer if known from headers, may be overwritten by decoder if it knows better. This field may not match the value of the last AV frame output by AV codec receive frame due frame recording. Encoding set by user, decoding set by user if known, overridden by lib AV codec while parsing the data. So it's just gonna override it. Okay. So okay, libswscale change pixel format. From planar YUV 420p to RGB 24 packed. That's exactly what I want. So is there example? There may be examples. Vulkan tests. I'm not seeing examples. Is it in docs? Examples. VAPI encode, transcode, show metadata, scale video, resample audio remux, mux, hardware decode, encode audio, encode video, demux, decode video. Yeah, I'm not seeing it there. So let's try to go in documentation. General documentation, API documentation, format codec features, platform documentation, utilities, video scaling and pixel format converter, scalar options, provides a high-level interface to libs to the scale option. Okay, libwscale format conversion. Let's see. Image scaling, RGB to YUV. We use image converter to go from RGB to YUV. We now use the new interface. The new interface is more modular, faster, and I believe has MMX optimization stuff. The basic function we're going to use to scale is swscale, but first we're going to have to set up what's called the SWS context. This is compile the conversion we want and then pass that in later as swscale. It's kind of like a pre-paired statement, sure. Static structs SWS context image convert CTX. I'm going to start with a dumb like local only SWS context. Okay. Destination pixels. Picture. AV frame. if it's null, s3 as get context. Source width, source height, deck frame width, deck frame height. I'm not scaling it. Source format, deck frame format, destination and destination format, flags and filters. Deck frame width, deck frame height, AV pix FMT RGBA. AV pixel format. AV pixel format, great, that's correct. And then I do need a few things. So this one says bicubic, SW is bicubic. Because I'm not scaling, I don't think it's going to change much. Source filter, destination filter, and param. So I think I can do null everywhere. 1, no, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I got a context. SWScale. CTX. Data line size, height, data line size. So these are kind of an export thing. So deck frame data at 0, deck frame line size at 0. Then there was something else, right? Source slice, source stride, Y and H. Okay, makes sense. So you separate. Okay, deck frame height. So it's just if you want to like move it in the Y and then how much of the H you want to get, I guess, and then data and line size. So that's like the export, I guess, destination and stride. So I think what I can do then is move these two up, and I'm going to put it in state pending frame data, and I'm just going to get line size as a why not uint32t line size. Okay, so let's see what the errors are. So uint 80 star const star const okay, so I think I may need to just do this and then this as well, and this may need to be this because this needs a double star const star test. Oh, it's interesting that you can actually just do that. I've never seen it. Hello, random man from Peru. We all random people from different places. I'm not sure you're more random than anyone else. Ooh, bit of a mistake here. Probably I'm gonna need this malloc right here, and I'm gonna remove the mem copy because now there's the scale thing. I'm tempted to just try it like that, even with the warnings, and see if anything fails. Okay. This is the same result. This is the same result. I mean, if this fails, I guess, yeah, but because I'm not copying the data, then I mean, it's something easy to test. If I just do this, there's an error. Duh. I was like, oh, it looks the same. Hello. So I got distracted. I'm thirsty. I don't have any water here. All right. So where we are at is that I'm getting a video stream from a URL using FFmpeg, or more precisely AV codec of FFmpeg and AV format, to open the frames and decode the individual JPEG images from the MJPEG stream, and it works. But what we're getting back is a YUVP 240p or something like that format for the pixels, and when I want to give that to OBS as a source, OBS is expecting a RGBA format. So I want to use libswscale from FFmpeg again to scale, but I'm going to keep the same width and height, but to transition it to a different format. So my context should be correct in that my input width and height and input format is this one. My input width and height is the same. My output width and height is the same, and this is the same. Now I'm not getting any error here, but when I compile I get an error. Now the reason why is because I may have slight differences in my LSB configuration and my compiler, because they're actually using different compilers. So this is actually saying that after the format I should have something, right? In decoder 53. So this one says you should have something. What is this supposed to be? The source filter. Okay, so we're going to say SW by something. SWS by cubic. The thing is, I'm not too worried about the sampling because it's not going to be scaled, so that should be fine. And data here as the first thing of this, incompatible pointer type, right? I'm expecting this, but I'm getting a uint8 star star. But I'm not getting it on that second. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to see. Right, so I do have an error there, which is it wants a const uint8t star const star, aka const unsigned char star const star. Now this is where I'm not super familiar with this. I just need to figure out I'm gonna do something nasty just so it compiles and see. It will not compile. I probably need to give it the exactly what he wants. This. I really need to do this because that way I can read stuff. Alright, so it still doesn't want it really. I mean, I guess the error there is a compatible pointer type. I'm not sure, like uint8t star const star. And it's saying that it wanted const uint const, but argument, no. Okay, so what if I just add const at the beginning? Okay, it might cause some issues because, but we'll see. There you go. Deprecated pixel format used. Make sure you did set range correctly. So deprecated pixel format used. Is that the input pixel format or the output pixel format? It's not telling me. If you're just going to use the FFmpeg, this is just a warning, not an error, and nothing to worry about. So for proper YUV color space negotiation, so this message should not appear anymore from this version. Okay. There you go. So when I was getting, this is what I have, and it shows this as the output. The format was required for writing files. These two pixel format have different color ranges. Okay. Let me think. What I'm getting is a seg fault. It's either because what I'm sending it as the input is completely incorrect, which it could be. Because the thing is, because I'm casting manually, like I'm just shooting myself in the foot there. Like I can't really tell what's going on at that point. But maybe if I look at this, I would have some things. So picture data 0, 1, and 2 are set there, but they're actually swapped in here. 0, 2, and 1 are swapped, so maybe I'll need to do that. And line size is pitches, and they also swap the 2. So I think when it gives it the data, it says picked, and you look at when you scale, what's the data that it gives it? It gives it frame data. Unless this is the destination and this is the source, that could actually make sense because this is a pointer. So does this actually? No, the first one is the source, and the source, and then this is the destination. Can fix this like this. That's interesting. I don't understand why in this situation they set the contents of picked.data while it is the destination. I guess maybe what they want is oh, line size is supposed to be an array. That would explain. Let's give it 4. Yeah, because maybe he was trying to write to it. Okay, maybe not. Who knows? Let's just confirm that the segfault happens at this point by just doing the most efficient way of debugging. Okay, great. So now I know this is exactly where it causes an issue. I think this is this. I mean, this is a source. It's going to read it. It's going to have a format, line size. What about in here? P-frame data and P-frame line size. Now, P-frame is literally an AV frame. So it looks like you should be able to just give it data and line size. When I just give it data, it doesn't seem to like it because it says it's a uint blah blue, and now I get the error, right? But this seems to be something you should be able to do. Now the output seems to be, what if I just for testing purposes allocate a lot of memory just to make sure that like there's enough space to write? Still segfaults. What if I don't need to give it a reference? It is a star, and if I remove this, then I got an issue. Oh, it is a star. Yes. So is it still gonna try to do all of the data planes? Because what I need instead here is gonna be what's the signature? uint 8t star const star. uint 8t star const star. And I'm gonna say, actually I might just do this, which I don't know if that actually exists, for data. State pending frame data. Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Although I do need, it's just annoying because like this is going to do 4 of them. I don't know. So here I just want to do data. So I think I just need something that's going to be like, oh, you've got 4 pointers to that thing, right? And I think I'm going to have to do this, but this is still going to be the same issue. What's the error? I need to take the address, but data is... Let me just try to fix that. I want this, and I want this to be 0. I need to get one thing working, and then I'll just I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So this should now be like this. Okay, great. And now I can do state pending frame data. Yes, okay, great. I'll do all of the efficiency stuff another time. Bad destination image pointer. Now we're getting somewhere. That's the destination image. So it's probably trying to do something with those other data planes. How can I tell libswscale to only take care of like specific slices? Because I don't really need to have data planes. That's the thing that I'm not sure about. Like I just want this format libswscale data planes. Not going to get much information there. What I'm wondering is that this format is not going to be the layout of the pixels. This format that I'm changing is just going to go from like the YUV to something else, which is going to be the same problem that I had before. So I mean, I could try to do something stupid and do a bunch of foos here. Bad destination image pointers. This is not gonna like it. Yeah, I just don't know what to do because frame data is gonna be 8. Like maybe this is the thing. Maybe it actually goes through 8 of them, and I need 8. Because I know that this is the size when you use a picture. Same thing, bad. Let's just be thorough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so I'll get the same error. So yeah, so that kind of makes sense, but that's the destination. So the destination is this double pointer stuff, and then there's the stride. So I'm expecting basically that I need the same format as this data here, which is 8, like pointer to the picture / channel planes. This may be different from the first allocated byte. For video, it could even point to the end of the image data. AV codec, frame channel planes. I want to understand that. Unaligned frame data planes. If you are decoding this video, it will create 7,808 bytes per plane. This bytes of extra padding. For my purposes, I would like to force AV codec to use an underlying data so I can copy an entire continuous chunk of frame data instead of copying and formatting smaller pieces one at a time. After decoding, you can use libswscale to format the pixels into a memory buffer you supply. Just set the input and output resolution to same, allocate a chunk of memory, and set your line stride equal to frame width. So what would libswscale versus the other one? I mean, I think that's the one that I was looking at, right? This is scale, okay. So this is kind of what I'm trying to do there. Set the input and output resolution to the same, allocate a chunk of memory, and set your line stride equal to frame width. After decoding, you can use libswscale. Okay, so this is incorrect, and this is maybe more correct in a way. I could try bilinear. So you allocate a new frame, you set the input frame and the output frame and the format the one you want. You get the buffer for the RGBA frame, and then you, oh, this one is casting it as well. This is correct. And then RGBA frame data and line size. Then you do RGBA size, AV image get buffer size, RGBA with height. Okay, sure. And then malloc the RGBA size, and then you copy into your RGBA data the thing at 0. So I mean, with this I can do it myself, but RGBA frame is interesting. So yeah, if I may need to do a frame for like the output, so let's try that instead, because this is maybe my problem here. What I need is a AV frame star out frame equals AV frame alloc, and then there I'm going to do out frame data out frame line size. I think I'm going to start with that. Now this is not going to do anything right now, but if it doesn't crash, bad destination image pointer. See, I'm getting the same problem. So width, height, and format. Format equals AV pix FMT RGBA. Let's try that again. Bad DST image pointer. That's really odd, because I'm giving it the actual thing there. Is it there? You need to allocate the buffer. AV frame get buffer. Is this what I'm missing? Does that even exist? Yes. Out frame. I don't know what that second number is. Align. Okay, sure. Okay. So now it's not causing an issue. But that means that I should be able to do memcpy into state pending frame data out frame data at 0 size. Crossing fingers. Ah, it's working just fine. So it's literally what it was. All right, so there's a lot of optimization that we can be done there. Deprecated pixel format used. I don't know if this is because it just, yeah, I don't know, it deprecated. I don't know if this is the output or the input one. It's kind of annoying to have all of this, but I can potentially keep the context. So I think what I want to do is move the scale context and only recreate it if the size changes. So I could do a static void update scale context with struct AV codec decoder deck. And I'm just going to do uint32t width, uint32t height. If deck scale CTX is null, or or I'm just gonna let it be rubbish for a little bit there because I just need to move the scale CTX. AV decoder, I'm gonna need a AV SWS context scale CTX. That's what I need. Now I can do or deck scale CTX. What do we have here? Width, DST width, DSTW is different from width, or DST deck scale CTX DST height is different from the height. It's very similar to the code in main here when it comes to the update texture in here. Right, if it's null, you create it, otherwise you check the width and height. And to be honest, because these two, oh, I guess I need to branch it because I need to do a destroy if it already exists. So I'm actually going to do that as well. I'm going to split that into two, which is going to be this, else, if this, right? And in here, this, and I imagine there's a SWS destroy context. SWS destroy context. Free context. See, I think that's the problem with AI today, is that it's not AI, it's just the fact that if I don't look at the Google AI, which has the answer, the results do not understand what I was looking for. And I'm pretty sure in the past you would have understood. Because SWScale, destroy, and context, SWS free and context, these are going to be in any index out in the world, it should just work. So I feel like it just made searches worse so that you can get the AI to do it. Conspiracy theory from me, that this is what's going on. So here I just need to create. Now the thing is with the create, it's so annoying that I might as well just make it a function as well. It's not annoying, it's just kind of verbose. So if I have to do it twice, I don't want to do it twice. So I should have it right here. Might as well just delete it here. Right there. And this is going to become scale context. And I mean, I could just, I mean, because the frame is always going to be the input, I could just like not worry about width and height inside, because I know that this is always going to be my input. I don't need this. And then here's going to be the same thing. And width and height is going to become deck frame width, frame height. Right, free context now. Now here I can do create scale context, and here too. Right, and finally here, well, that's all I need to do, right? Because if it's already, if the width and height didn't change, I don't need a new context, so that's fine. Now I can do deck scale context with all of that information, and mem copy into there. And the only thing is that, yeah, there's the out frame that I need to also I keep here. I need 2 frames. Out frame. Oh, the out frame actually, I don't know if there's a way to just free the buffer and reallocate, because when I decode here, I create this frame and I set the width and height in the format, and then I say get buffer, and I feel like get buffer allocates new buffer. Can I just like free the buffer? This free, make writable, replace, site data add, unref. Because I just worry that if I set a width and height on it, I guess if it changes, I'll just recreate it. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, delete this, right? And then put it right here. Yeah. So if it's null, I create it. I'm going to do the same thing here. If out frame is null, so it's going to be the decoder's out frame, then I can just do deck. Here you go. Well, the reality is I kind of need a create out frame, which is going to be just this, including the buffering. Because it's the same as the other one, I might do it twice. So the scale, so I'm going to assume that like the information in one of those is good enough. So I'm going to have a bool has changed, and I'm just going to calculate this here. There you go. Don't know exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, so here I can say has changed. So this is going to be create out frame, and else if has changed. I feel like this is not the best series of things. Sometimes I'm trying to type fast. I can't do it properly. Right. It's not the best use. Like I feel like there's one place where I could just say if it changed, I know I need to like free and recreate, but I also want to check first that they're null, right? So I think they each need a separate thing. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep it like that. I think that's fine. And this one comes here. It could be a case of like if it's null, but like I don't want to do a free if it's null. I mean, this may be the best way to deal with all this, to be honest. Deg out frame, and deg out frame data. Now I am missing one thing, which is right here. Update scale context. Okay. Now I should get the same thing, except that I should be slightly more efficient. Hold on. Okay, now I'm segfaulting. Okay, so update scale context. One of the things is that in create, I did not set them explicitly to null. Now, because when I create it, I am doing arena alloc, it should all be set to 0, but still, I do want to do decoder out frame null and put it here, scale context, just in case they were set to some garbage. I don't think that's the issue. Okay, great, but at least this is more clean now. So create scale context, gets the frame information by cubic. Let's see what I'm missing here. Yeah, I could try to do like a calculate. I know I can get the AV image get size. AV image get buffer size. Did it hallucinate this function? No, it is there. It's in libavutil. IMG utils. Right, so that should be a little bit better now. Okay, great. I'm just going to use that to make it clearer. Pixel format with height align. So pixel format AV pix FMT RGBA deg frame width deg frame height align to 32. Why not? This is going to give me size t size equals this, which I should be able to use right here by removing this, right, just in case. So now it should actually give me a size in case I didn't like it enough, because there's an alignment. Maybe I was trying to write outside, although it didn't make sense because that's code that I had before and it was working, so this is not the issue. All right, so segfault. The code was working, I just moved stuff around, it's segfaulting. Now I just need to figure out where it is. It's quite likely I forgot to initialize something, or it doesn't have the right value. This is not even printing there, so oh, that is, oh no, yeah, get buffer size should be fine. So update scale context may be the problem. Oh, of course, because I'm reading something that doesn't exist. So has change should be deg scale CTX is different from null and this, which would make sense. Right. At least the rest of the code makes, okay, right. So now it is working, right? So we've got this, I can't show the phone unless I show the camera, in which case I can't show the phone anymore. But this is, let me switch like this. This is this phone that's filming me. Woo, woo, woo. And it's plugged in, but I can, because it's over Wi-Fi, so it's just an IP camera. Let's switch back to this. You should be able to see now There you go, floating around. Right, so I still think it's probably not the most efficient possible. I mean, this instance of OBS is running at about 2%. I am not streaming. The other instance, when I'm not streaming, is running at kind of around the same time, the same amount. But I still think there's a few things that could be done a bit better. But yeah, there could be some, you know, if it disconnects or whatever, like, you need to add reconnection attempts and a bunch of stuff like that. But yeah, this is fun. I do want to let it run for a little bit longer, because with my previous implementation, when it runs for a while, it literally sees the entire computer, like big freeze, like something serious happened because the caps lock little LED was blinking, which is like a super low level. Something went really wrong. Also, it's interesting because here it's only, oh yeah, now it's only telling me once, which is great. Latency is not changing for the worse. It's actually working just fine. I should be able to leave. Okay, which weirdly enough, when I do that, my CPU fan is going up, and come back. That was pretty fast there because it, that, like, the time it took there was a connection to the phone and then start decoding. I wonder if it skipped the last frame for a little bit. Yeah, it does. It keeps the last frame. I might want to clear the frame, because otherwise, when you jump sources, it'll have the old frame. I'm actually tempted to just say when it's deactivated, I just like completely like free up the thing, because one thing I could do is I could have one arena allocated for the actual thread that runs, rather than an arena for the state. And the state could just be mallocked, or could be in another. I could have like a top level arena for all of my states, and then I could have another arena. And for all my states, what I mean is just the literally the structures to be stored there. Let's have a look at OBS, obviously, but it's going to be difficult to measure when streaming, because I can't really tell which OBS is really doing this. Although this one is at 20%, and that's the 37 one is at 15, and the 23 one. So the one with a higher number should be this instance that I'm running here. But I know there's a bunch of stuff that I'm doing that's not right, which is kind of shit. Like, for example, I would love if, and maybe this is something I can do, but I would love if instead of doing this, if I could have just directly given this pointer, like this thing, well, no, this one, if I could give that directly to the frame instead of copying it. And realistically, I could actually, I realized that I'm just doing something a bit dumb, because I'm keeping that pending frame. Oh yeah, okay. I think I found a solution, because these are just pointers. I can do pointy point, just go there in memory. I don't even need to worry. Remove this, say equal, because out frame is going to persist across things. Oh, but no, I can't. Okay, I don't think I can do that, because when I do this and I set the pointer of pending frame to that data, it will keep a pointer to that in memory. Then update frame right there is gonna swap between pending frame and current frame. It's just gonna do a pointer swapping, and that means that now current frame data is pointing to this thing, except that this thing I could start writing to it again in the next frame, and I could be writing while the other one is reading as well. So I do need to have a copy of it. So I can do one of two things. I could have two out frames pending on the current again, mimicking the thing, or I need to do a memcpy. Let's just keep it to memcopy for now, and then see. Okay. The problem that I have with this is that if I ever want to use that in my main OBS, it has to be dead solid. Because if it's not, it just crashes OBS, which is not nice. Yeah. So I might just leave it running for a little bit and then see where that goes. The next thing that I would like to potentially look at, I mean, I have a to-do. Yeah, so GPU map buffer from OBS. I don't know if this is really realistic. I think uploading to a texture is kind of the best I'm going to be getting. Yeah, keeping my hand there to just see how it reacts. The next thing I would like to do is some kind of like nice features around the configuration, right? So the configuration of this, it actually goes and you can just type the URL there. You just type the URL and it just does that. But as you type, there is no validation that the URL is valid. So I could either just like have another text underneath, which is like a read-only one, that I could update and say, oh, this is valid, this is not valid, and hide and show. Like as it's typed in, I could parse the URL, and if the URL is invalid, I say invalid URL. And I could even have like just have an attempt to connect and see if the response headers are even the ones that are expected. And if it's not, just like, you know, say that it didn't work. And then finally, if no URL is provided or if the URL is invalid, I would love to use the, I think there's draw text capabilities of OBS on the texture, so that I could actually write to the texture a bit of a feedback saying this didn't work, or even like could get an image and a paint in the middle of the texture and say, you know, this is where your thing is misconfigured or something like that, right? And even when I cancel it, it reconnects, but you don't even see the reconnection. Like if I do OK and I go fast, you can't even see that it reconnected in between. It is still working. CPU fan is going up a little bit. I can play with my shadow actually from here. Ooh. The other thing I would like to look at is reconnection strategy. So having like another state, like a reconnection state that basically goes and say, if it gets disconnected, so I would have to detect that from, well, I can easily detect that, because if I get a 0, when I try to read, if I get a 0, it means that I got disconnected. So I could just say, oh, you got disconnected, go into reconnecting mode, and reconnecting could do, you know, attempts, and if it fails, if it fails to connect, and it is in reconnecting, it would then, I could then create a timer FD, and then try again after some time. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this has been running for much longer than the previous one, and it's still kind of okay, so we'll just skip it to that. Right, so, okay, let's start with one thing. Go to OBS, and there is, there should be a drawing area, draw functions. Copy texture, begin scene. Okay, I'm not really seeing a draw text. So you might not be able to draw text. So their text source may be doing the drawing themselves. Render GS draw sprites. Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be sprites. Don't really want to do the text rendering myself. Draws a primitive or set of primitives. I don't know what primitives you have. The primitive draw mode to use. Starting vertex index, number of vertices. OBS GS draw text. It's not going to be this is not going to be the information I need there. C plugin text free type 2. So I think it just I think what that plugin does is just actually have free type and does the rendering itself. FT2 source render. Here, draw UV buffer, draw outline, draw drop shadow, reset blend states. Yeah, so I think it has its own draw UV buffer. Although, I mean, it's not source data vbuff, source data text. I'm not seeing it calling draw, but if it's a stateful thing, yeah, I don't need the, well, actually it does it on an effect, right? Draw sprite, but the draw sprite is not on the effect. You just set the image of the effect. So if it's not, then it should be fine. I do have OBS, so I could just look for that. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, also, I'm not even in the OBS source code, so don't know what I was expecting there. Draw UVV buffer is not in the OBS Studio. Source. I mean, it is. It's right here. I might be looking at like an old version of something. Okay, let's have a look then. Draw UVV buffer. Wow, there must be something, I don't know what's going on there. Okay. See, this AR stuff just confuses everything. You see, a draw buffer is a specific memory area in computers. It's like, yeah, but it has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. And I put quotes around it, and it still wanted to change it. There you go, and it found it in OBS convenience. Okay. Right. Vertex buffer, texture, effect, number of vertices, and use color. Technique draw, image, load vertex buffer, load index buffer, technique begin pass, set texture, set ball, use color, draw triangles, number of vertices, and pass. So it must be basically populating the textures in there, because if I go into text here, in here, src data text is set somewhere. Texture destroy, source render, cache glyph, text buffer. I mean, I don't know what I'm reading this source. It's just not going to tell me much. I mean, what it tells me is that rendering text is you're on your own when it comes to that. Like, they don't have like a utility that, so unless I can just like, yeah, merge those, it's not going to be possible. So the only thing I could do is just prepare a series of text or images to basically show that it's disconnected. That's pretty much the only thing I could do there. I wonder if I could have a thing that says, if it's disconnected, just show red instead of showing nothing, so that at least, or show an icon. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to want to do that. Anyways, I think this is a good time to hang around there to finish for today. I mean, it's working fine. I don't really have another. Let me try something. I actually have it installed on a second phone, and I do kind of want to see if this one is okay. So if I add a second IP camera, actually let me start by just making this one smaller. There you go. And then I add a second IP camera. I want to see if that works well as well. That gives me two phones. Now I do remember that, like, on that second phone I had an issue because I had my VPN on. Yep. Ah, and it's on the side for some reason. So now I've got two. Right. And because I have two, I can actually pit them against each other and be like, oh look, you are two phones. Right, but I can have something that shows this. Back there's like, oh yeah, look at the 3D printer. Oh, here you can look at the computer. Actually, this is just, this one's upside down. Let me hold it properly. What thing? There you go. I can do it does have like a constant like CPU usage extra. Like now I'm at 3.3%, where before I was like a 1.6, because because I've got two sources, and I wonder if there's a way to just alleviate that. I wonder if I can eat both of them at the same time. And it looks like I have one, but it's actually two phones. Boop. They can look at each other. One can look at the other through the phone to make an infinite multiple crazy screens. All right, anyways, I mean, to me this basically shows it works. What if I stop this? What happens? The image freezes and it says ending thread, but it keeps the last frame. So these are like the things that we want to maybe look at, which is going to be disconnect handler, free texture, I guess, or at least like do a one last draw with nothing on it, or like clear the frame, and then a reconnect handler. I guess that's kind of like what I want to do. Anyways, I'm going to end this. What am I doing here? I'm doing this. There you go. So, happy with what we did today. I mean, we literally did one thing, which is revert the thing that was using a GS texture, so a OBS texture as the swap chain, if we want, where I was basically swapping between two, because as I've observed before, but I didn't think it was the case, it seems like you can only create those textures on the main thread. So instead I brought back my frame structure with a width and a height and some data, and I'm doing the nasty thing of freeing and mallocing on every frame, which I should probably just only do that if the size changes, to be honest. So that's I also realized that technically, I wonder if this is something that could be handled, but anyways, that's for tomorrow. So once that has started working, then we still have the issue of displaying the YUV420p format, pixel format, onto something expected RGBA, and we looked again and saw that it was libswscale, again from the FFMPEG project, which would allow us to do this. It's a little bit misleading because it's called scale, but in reality it also changes the pixel format. And I actually do hope that under the hood it maybe has like a compiled kernel or shader that it uses rather than something in software, because maybe that would be an issue, but we'll see. It seems to be working pretty well. So after trying to do that by using a custom output layout for the destination of where the scale output should be, the reformatted output should be, we realized that didn't work, so we're using two frames, one for the frame that is decoded and one for the frame that is rescaled. But these are like kept, so we don't reallocate all the time. And it works. So once we get that one out, we can do a mem copy into the pending frame data. That gets swapped with current frame. Pending becomes current. Current gets rendered. What was your wrong call? So yeah, so that seems to be working. We'll play with that a bit more tomorrow, I guess. See what we can do. I'm getting to this stage where it's like, to make this kind of complete is going to be a bit of boring work, and I'm tempted to just say, let's try to use it, with the risk that OBS would crash. Yeah, so tomorrow either I'm just going to use it as a test thing and then do something else, or another pass at like the disconnect and reconnect and things like that, and then see where it goes. Yeah, I may just like have a go at looking at all the code and just see places where it could potentially crash and just, protect it. But I think we're pretty safe in that I'm writing to buffers with specific limits when it comes to reading from the network, and I'm giving that to FFmpeg, well, libswscale codec, which is something that shouldn't actually cause any issues because it should be quite stable. And then it's the only like copy at the end, but the size for the copy is the size that I malloc, and it's also the size that I can calculate from av image get buffer size from libavutils/imgutil. So that should be fine. Anyways, I'm gonna end here today. So see you tomorrow. Bye.